Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Bible in Order, where we are chronologically going through the entire Bible in one year. Today's reading for February 21st is Leviticus chapters 24 and 25. Some interesting stories in this chapter. One is about a fight between an Israelite man and a man who was a descendant of an Israelite woman and an Egyptian father. The son of the Egyptian and Israelite curses God. He slights or is trifling with, he makes little of, he totally disrespects the name. And it says he also blasphemed the name. So in addition to just disrespecting it, he outright assaulted the name of God. And he should have known better. Like, his father was an Egyptian. Surely he heard the stories, if he didn't witness it himself, when the entire Egyptian army was destroyed in the Red Sea. But he's also should be sympathetic to the Israelite plight, having a Hebrew mom. Maybe he was rejected by his Egyptian family. Maybe he was not accepted either by the Hebrew people. Maybe he was very troubled and had a very difficult childhood, but nonetheless, none of that was God's fault. And he took out on God his frustration. When tradition holds, it was all over where he would be able to pitch his tent. And the tribe of Dan said, "This is for descendants of fathers, not mothers. You can't stay here." Maybe he should have gone to Moses and requested assistance, but instead he took matters into his own hands, and it cost him his life. But before the death sentence was carried out, the very men who testified against him that he was guilty had to place their own hands on him, in a sense saying, "Your guilt is on your own head. It's your fault." It's uncomfortable because it's such a weighty thing. But what we do know from reading this story is that God is very passionate and zealous about his holy name. There is a commandment. One of the 10 commandments says, "You shall not empty the name of God of its power." Don't treat it like an ordinary thing. Don't take the name of God upon you and say, "I belong to Yahweh," and then live like the world and not reflect his character in your life. Don't do it. Chapter 25 is about the Sabbath and rest, and how even the land, every seventh cycle, every seventh year, they were not to plant crops on the land. God is so serious about rest. He built it into farming. Not to worry, on the 6th year, you'll get a triple bounty of a crop. Live off of that for the next 2 while you take 1 year off, and then you'll also have seed left over for the 8th year for new beginnings. How can we incorporate this Sabbath rest and this holiness for who God is and what his name represents into our daily lives in our busy America? How can we honor God and keep these commandments while our kids are playing soccer games and while we're working 50 or 60 hours a week trying to make ends meet? Wouldn't it be nice to have a year of Jubilee where every 50th year after the 7th 7, there's just an entire year that we take off and all debts are canceled? And if I had to sell myself into slavery because I've become destitute, then I'll be set free on that year. And as much as we in 2024 wish that we were all free and our debts would be canceled, that Jubilee was promised and offered to the people who upheld the commandments, the people who did not take God's name in vain, and the people who observed the Sabbath. It was they who had their debts canceled. Isn't it funny how we want God to bless us, but we don't want to do what He's told us to do? I'm in process, my friends. I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to figure this stuff out and apply it to my own life. And I hope that you are too. God bless you. Thank you for being on this journey with me through the Word in 2024. We'll see you tomorrow.